Hello everyone, it's nice to have you with me for the next little while. Actually, this video that you're watching right now, I had planned to record on location. And just as I was about to leave this morning, the weather took a major change for the worse. I mean, it was supposed to be cloudy. That's what they were announcing yesterday. And then just as I got out of the shower and just as I was about to leave, well, as you can see, torrential rain, which is not unusual here in Taiwan in the month of May. And I was hoping, well, maybe it'll clear up by 12 o'clock. Didn't clear up. And it kind of continued until just after 6 p.m. The thing is, I don't mind riding in the rain, but this is a little bit too much. Anyway, there's actually something that I'd like to talk about. So, just the other week, so the week, that would be last week actually, I had a chance to watch again the series Long Way Up. Now, if you don't know Long Way Up, it's a series of motorcycle journeys that was originally started back in, let me just check the date again, 2004 by Charlie Boorman and Ewan McGregor. The first series they did was called Long Way Round, where they traveled all the way around the world on a couple of BMW bikes, and it's a fantastic series to watch. And when I got the series on DVD, I think I watched it a few times. And since then, they've actually done some other ones. There is the one that now is starting to stream on Apple Plus TV called Long Way Home, which is a trip through Europe, starts in the UK, goes through Scandinavia, and then back down to the UK, through the rest of Europe. And the one that came out before that was called Long Way Up. Now, Long Way Up, I watched it when it originally came out, but it's a series that I had to watch again. And it has to do with actually a few things. First, in case you didn't know, Charlie Boorman, in 5 years before doing the series, had a huge motorcycle accident. He was riding, a car went close to him and he hit a wall. And then just as he was about to walk again, he had another even more serious accident on a scooter. So it's been a long wait for him to recover. But as I always say, never fear anything, which is exactly what he did. He's like, okay, as soon as I got better, I'm going to get back on the bike. And that's what they did. That was the first thing. So Charlie Boorman did a miraculous recovery. He does have one leg, however, that is shorter than the other because they had to remove some bones, so he does have a limp. But it still doesn't prevent him from riding. The thing that made this journey interesting is it started off in the most southern tip of South America and made its way to Los Angeles in the United States. That's not so unusual. People have done that before. People have even gone further, all the way to Alaska. What made this trip, however, rather special were the bikes that they used. Yes, they decided to use electric motorcycles. Now, these motorcycles were provided to them from Harley-Davidson. They were actually, you could say, kind of prototypes because Harley-Davidson officially had not released these bikes. They're the Harley-Davidson Livewire. You think about it, quite a brave thing to do. The backup vehicles, which they would usually use, let's say a Land Rover or Toyota Land Cruiser, were also electric from a company called Rivian. And they were basically Rivian prototypes. The Rivian trucks that they used had not even been on the market being sold yet, just like the Harley-Davidsons. So this trip was very, very interesting to watch. My takeaway from it is that you can do it, a trip like this on an electric motorcycle. But of course you need to have a backup. I mean, they did have a diesel-powered generator. And in episode 2 and in episode 3, there's many places that they went to stop to charge. And guess what happened? Either they couldn't charge because there wasn't enough power, or they would trip the circuit breakers because of the power required to charge the bikes. So the whole trip actually through South America, Central America, even through Mexico, was a bit challenging. The other thing that was interesting about it is that Long Way Up shows basically the challenges, especially with electric motorcycles. Now, I have actually no problem with EVs and electric motorcycles, and I think that there's definitely going to be a market for them. But electric motorcycles, however, are slightly different from cars. First, you can't put a huge, massive battery, and you don't get the same travel time. I think the most they were getting on these Livewire bikes was between 100 and 124 kilometers a day. Sometimes even less, depending on what the temperature was. There's a few episodes, a few moments actually, I should say, in some of the episodes where they're traveling, and they're saying, how much range do you have to each other? And they're saying, for some reason, it's only 80, but it says fully charged, but it must be the cold weather. So, electric motorcycles. Is there a future for them? I think there definitely is going to be a future for them. If you're somebody that doesn't really travel outside a big center or where there's a rather large population. But if you like to do road trips, same thing with electric cars, you can do them. But it's just a pain in the ass. Batteries are good for powering certain devices, not vehicles. Vehicles, yes, if you're only going to travel maybe a 100 kilometer radius. Now, people will argue that, oh, but most people only travel 100 kilometers. Yeah, but that means then you're stuck with that 100 kilometers. If you want to do anything more, in terms of a road trip, it's going to be a pain in the ass. There's no doubt about that. I would like to find out what your thoughts are on the electrification of motorcycles. And by the way, if you have a chance, the new series for Long Way, the series that is presented by Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman, is now streaming on Apple Plus. They're not releasing all the episodes at once, so the first 2 episodes are available right now. Episode 1 and 2 of Long Way Home, where they're traveling on vintage motorcycles, and I think it's May the 16th that episodes 3 and 4 are going to be uploaded, so go and watch it. It's absolutely fantastic. Anyway, tell me what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.